Hi, I'm Greg Hunter. This is the weekly news wrap up for Friday, October 7th, 2016. And look, the big stories that you're hearing about is, Hurricane Matthew. Heard about that, which is a big deal. And the damage in Haiti, talk about the presidential debates, Hillary Clinton going into seclusion or preparation, whatever. The big story that you're not hearing about is how close we are to war, a big one with Russia. Now, you know that, Kerry was threatening to break off diplomatic relations and not work with Russia at all in Syria. That's happened, folks. We're now in an abyss in terms of, totally blind in terms of diplomacy in the Middle East. That has been called off, and you're hearing all this war talk. You heard the head of the U.S. Army. He is the chief of staff, as they call it. He's a four-star general, head of the U.S. Army, bragging about how we can win any ground war. We guarantee you we're going to win any ground war. Also, other war comments from the U.S. And this is that the U.S. Army will, have a war that's almost guaranteed. This is according to Major General William Hicks of the U.S. Army. Hicks also said that it'll be extremely lethal and fast. We're talking about, we're on the edge of a major war in a likely go nuclear. Russia has sent his third ship from the Black Sea Fleet. A fast attack ship is what it's called. It carries cruise missiles. What do you bet they're nuclear tipped? Russia has also threatened the U.S. that if coalition aircraft or U.S. aircraft are attacking Syrian troops or any Syrians in Syria, they'll shoot them down. Russia also moved the popular and very lethal S-300 and even more lethal S-400 anti-aircraft missile into the scene, into their Air Force base and into Syria, in the Air Force base in Syria. The war talk goes, they've had drills for nuclear war in Moscow where they have already dug bunkers for 12 million people. They've had other drills across Russia. Reportedly was for some 40 million Russians taking part in this drill just this week. It couldn't be the warning signs could not be any more dire. And remember, folks, we have broken all diplomatic relations when it comes to Syria. And we're just talking about Syria. We're not talking about China. We're not talking about the South China Sea. We're not talking about Ukraine. We're not talking about anything, but I'm just talking about Syria, how terrible and lethal it is, and the terrible things that are going down that they're not really reporting much in the mainstream press here in the U.S. It's just this unparalleled in modern history. It's in my adult life, in my adult news life, I've never heard talk like this coming from both sides, Russia and the U.S. War is close. Why are the markets going up? I don't know. Why is gold going down? I'm pretty sure that's manipulated down. Bill Holter came out and said, it's like they dropped 40% of the money protection on the market in 2 minutes, 2 seconds? I don't know. And then it continued to push it down. I mean, with the kind of talk you're hearing, gold should be taking a moonshot, but it's not. It's being forced lower. Maybe because they don't want the dollar to look bad. If gold goes up, the dollar goes down. I mean, sometimes they can both go up, but generally speaking, it's a teeter-totter. Dollar up, gold down, dollar down, gold up. It's unbelievable what is going on, and the war talk is intensifying, and the actions being taken, moving men, material into the theater of possible battle in in Syria and the Middle East, and General Hicks saying it's almost guaranteed we're going to have war, folks. What I hear is bad, and it's even worse that the mainstream press won't really report this. It's dangerous. Somebody asked me, hey, what's the big headline going on? How close we are to war? And listen, if we get a shooting war, if you start getting airplanes, Russian or U.S. or Syrian or anybody, any planes can start getting shot out of the sky, and this is going to go intensify. Just like the General Hicks said, that it'll be extremely, extremely lethal and fast. So the table is set, folks. And I just saw this cartoon here in the newspaper. I couldn't believe it's in my newspaper. It said, "Do something." And that's what the cartoon says. Do something. And there's Obama. And if you look closely, you know, he's going to do something all right. Hold on. Let me get this right here. Let me get in here. Come on. Yeah. There you go. He's going to do something all right. It's a can of gas, basically, where he's talking about, intervention, which is intervention is gas to the fire. That's what's going on. The global economy against this background is also extremely weak, and I'll say it to you now. I've said it before. We get a big war. We get a definite big war, not just a little something that happens. And again, we don't have any diplomatic relations. We've broken those off, according to Kerry and according to all reports. So if somebody does accidentally shoot down a jet, you can't get on the phone and say, whoa, 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 we don't want a war. No. It looks like they want war. And then you had the IMF come out. And I got two headlines here on this. IMF cuts growth forecast. They said that the globe can't grow, and they cut this forecast because they now estimate there's 152 trillion in debt. 152 trillion. So what does that mean, 152 trillion in debt? Well, there's an old axiom that says, when a country gets to 100% of debt to GDP, gross domestic product, what they produce. Here's our debt. Here's what the value of what we produce. When they get to 100%, bad things happen. The global GDP, plus or minus a few trillion, is around 70 trillion. And the IMF also says, well, there's 152 billion in debt. We're talking about 225% debt to GDP. 225% for the globe. No way those bonds get paid. Some will get inflated out, will be bailed out with inflation and money printing. Many will not. Nobody's printing money for Puerto Rican bonds that have defaulted $70 billion. That's what I'm talking about. When you talk about, you hear of deflation, you're talking about debt destruction. What's debt destruction? Puerto Rico saying our bonds are no good, 70 billion, we're not paying. We're not even paying the interest. We're not even going to attempt to pay the instruments. Poof. How many Puerto Ricos do you think there are in this world? How many countries can just make the debt payment without slashing all their government services and having people vote them out of office? That's the International Monetary Fund, folks. And speaking of the IMF, which called Deutsche Bank the most systemically dangerous bank in the world, finally the mainstream press catching on. Hey, Deutsche Bank, a moment study in risk management. Comparing Deutsche Bank to Lehman Brothers. I mean, one minute you hear some sort of a bailout, and the next minute you hear it's a kind of a small bailout. And listen, this is not good for a bank that has the derivative exposure they have. 50 trillion. I mean, it was 70 trillion. They've pared some of that down. I mean, it's a moving target. You can't believe any numbers. What you can believe is they're in big trouble. They're talking about bailing them out. And what are they going to do with Credit Suisse and Santander Bank and any other, Wells Fargo that's now, what's the second state? Illinois is not doing business. California not doing business with them. What other states are not going to do business with Wells Fargo now? The fraudsters at Wells Fargo that open up all these phony accounts and then fired 5,300 people. And of course, management's home alone. They don't know anything's going. They know nothing. They don't know anything. You're getting huge bonuses, but they don't know that all this fraud's being committed and all these loans are being put out and all this other. I had Catherine often Fitz on after the interview section, which I'm going to have her on again soon. She was bringing up they created all these loans. How many false loans did they create? Where'd the money go? Who's holding the loans? Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the government? Is that a backdoor bailout? I don't know. And here's another sign the economy is just fabulous. If you had a robust economy, you'd be raising interest rates. New mortgage assistance program available soon. Check this out, folks. They're going to give away, hey, you could get $15,000 for a down payment. Yeah, that's right here. 15 grand. Here you go. Hey, here you go. Free money. Moo. 15 grand. Economy's so great, we got to give away money to, entice people to buy houses. And you can not only use it for a down payment, but, other things that you may need. Unbelievable. Who's paying for that? I want to bring up Haiti. What a sad story. You heard about the earthquake a couple of years ago. Wiped them out. I mean, unbelievable destruction from the earthquake. You know, the Clintons wrote in and they said, oh, this is so terrible. They raised close to $14 billion. The former president of Haiti was on stage with Donald Trump and said they tried to bribe me, the Clintons, and we got, 5% of the nearly $14 billion they collected. And now take a look at Haiti. They're being whacked again. These poor people are being creamed again by Mother Nature. And where did all this billions of dollars the Clintons raised? You know, the Haitians hate the Clintons. They've been up there in New York. They've been protesting the Clintons. And where's our money? You collected this in our name. We need the money. You think they need a little more money now? They had 108 people killed, and now they're saying that there's at least 3 cases of cholera going on. Now, the storm has passed them. I mean, Joe Bastardi, the renowned weatherman, says this is going to be at least a Category 4. Category 4? I used to live in Florida. On the East Coast, I mean, you got miles and miles and miles of land that is flat, and a lot of it close to the coast isn't more than 20 feet above sea level. You could have storm surge. You already got places in Miami going underwater in high tide. What's going to happen if you get a Category 4 with storm surge and winds as high as 50 plus miles an hour? He says you'll be at least Category 4 hitting Florida, at least. And we've already had the devastation in Haiti, and no word about all this money. That you'll never hear that from the mainstream press, that the Clintons raised all this money. And where's the money from their global charity fraud? Where is it? Where is the money? And I just can't say this enough. She had multiple servers to hide the fact that she was basically arranging bribes, taking bribes, treasonous bribes from countries that hate us. And they were given in form of donation to the Clinton global charity fraud. And that's not brought up. You had the FBI, which have now been exposed as a bunch of shills for Hillary Clinton, give immunity. And part of the deal was that the FBI would destroy the laptops that they got. Excuse me? Which brings me to, USA Today's lovely reporting on Donald Trump and the rest of the newspapers. Here we have, this is on the front page this week, Trump's recovery plan to attack Clinton. That's totally false. And then we have, on the business section, on the next fold out, here's what they do. Clinton says, I'll fight consumer gotchas. Nothing about any of the other stuff. Nothing about the charity fraud, about their chief of staff and top people getting immunity deals. And as part of the deal, we get to destroy your laptop and your devices, so nobody can ever find out what's going wrong. Here's my local newspaper. What do they have here? Just show you how unfair the dying mainstream media is. And here we Trump Tower, home to family empire of claims of kickbacks. Really? Claims of kickbacks, huh? And what do they have right below here? Claims of kickbacks. You're talking about that Donald Trump was talking about claims, which aren't even, proof. And here you have, Clinton, early voting is going to be crucial. You think they're talking about the kickbacks she had? I mean, what did they say? More than half the people that they found that had meetings with Hillary Clinton gave to the donations to the Clinton Foundation. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that at all. And then you hear this story about how 100 newspapers, none of them are going to endorse Donald Trump. They're so out of touch. They're so old school. They're so ultra lefty. We're better than you. You're stupid. Listen to us. You stupid little plebes. How could you dare do anything like vote for Trump? You're stupid. And here we have, this is on Drudge, and I thought that was a good headline. It says, UN end Trump. USA Today, stop him. Why are they going to stop him? Well, here's one quote from that same time period. You see the blue line is Clinton and the red line is Trump. And I think it's way worse than that. I think he's going to blow her out of the water. I heard one African-American preacher on TV saying, they'll tell you they're going to vote for Clinton, but when they get in that voting booth, a lot more black people than you think are going to vote for Donald Trump. I had a commenter on my site, and he says, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm going to vote Republican. And of course, Trump's been saying, what do you have to lose? And he's been asking for their votes, which Mitt Romney never did. He just went, write them off. He's like, this is ridiculous. You guys deserve to have, safety in your streets, and you're not getting schools. And they're, like Ben Carson says about African Americans, they pat them on the head and treat them like a pet. I think they're the bottom of the barrel. That's obvious. That's even Catherine Austin Fitts, who was a guest this past week, who worked in the Bush 41 administration, confirmed that was a plan. They're beneath the Hispanics. There's nothing wrong with Hispanics, nice people, but these are people who already live here. The African Americans I'm talking about are from here. They're from here. They're Americans. I don't care what color you are. You take care of Americans first. And, the refugees, the benefits and bonuses they get for coming, it's unbelievable. They get food stamps. They get Medicaid. They get assistance in housing. They get a Social Security check forever. It's unbelievable. Then you have the USA Today, and here's their little headline. This went with this right here, which was, they reported on this. We stop Trump, and Trump, USA Today, stop him. And here's USA Today, and if you watch this newscast, Trump unfit for presidency. Trump unfit for presidency, but somebody that has the private servers, takes a hammer to her BlackBerries, has private servers, arranges treasonous bribes with countries that hate us through a global charity front. That's fit for office. And someone who, to the FBI 39 times, I forgot. I don't remember my training. I didn't remember getting classified information. C, that means a copy. I don't remember, 39 times told the FBI this. She doesn't remember, but Trump is unfit for the presidency. And this publication that they like to tell you all that they're journalism with a big J. I have shown you time and time again how unfair they are. So here is the big fold-out opinion. Of course, there isn't any other opinion in their opinion section. And they, don't vote for Trump. And there they go here for the first time. We've never been this, biased and unfair. And that's a lie, folks. That's a lie. This is the most biased thing. Look at this. Don't vote for Trump. Talk about a backfire. Don't vote for Trump, you stupid people. We're the smart journalists with a big J. Don't vote for... We would never tell you we're wrong. We're doing this for your own good. So that was what the idea is here, right? We would never be this biased unless it was important. Remember this, huh? Do you really think there's a Clinton nation out there with 200 or 300 people at a time that she has to arrange, campaign stops and pay people to be there and try to suck off other parades and try to go to school gymnasiums and force kids in there, and that he has thousands of people show up. She might have a few hundred. Her and that interruptus, vice president of hers, Kane, they have nobody there. Oh, but we have Clinton Nation. Oh no, this would never be seen as biased to come up with a phony premise like Clinton Nation. Oh, but we would never do anything biased. Don't vote for Trump. I'm keeping this, folks. This is bias. We don't care. We're going to ruin our business model. We're going to be unfair. We're not going to be journalism anymore. We're going to be political hacks. That's basically what they're telling you. They're going to be political hacks. And I pointed this out. I don't just say they're unfair. I show you. I give you examples week after week of how they're unfair. 100 newspapers will not support Trump. 100 old-timey newspapers, as I said earlier. Good. They're not for you. The mainstream press controlled by, most of these 100 newspapers are all controlled by Gannett owns 80 or 90, all the other companies that own a ton of newspapers. These aren't like, mom and pop, 100 mom and pop individually owned. No. No. A couple other things I want to bring up. One of them this week, I had a commenter, nasty, anonymous, and they said on, I think it was on a YouTube channel, I don't have the exact quote, but something like, well, you've really upset Hillary Clinton and her forces and her people. You know, if a lot of marks against you, you may not be around when she's elected president. Something like that. And I wrote back that I'm not afraid of the criminal crony class in Hillary Clinton, and that you really should be afraid, and Hillary Clinton should be afraid of God the Father and we the people. Do not let these weasels intimidate you. I mean, I have all this bad news and all these terrible stories. Yes, because to be forewarned is to be forearmed. I want you to be in the know. I'm going to give it to you straight. And if you understand what's going on, you'll be able to make better decisions for you and your family and for the country. Don't let these weasels make you think, oh, well, they're going to steal it. There's nothing we can do. Let me tell you something, folks. If they thought there was nothing you could do, they wouldn't come up, the USA Today, who's number 2, the person in charge of content, works for the Council on Foreign Relations. They wouldn't come up with stuff like this. You know, this lie of Clinton Nation when she's only getting a few hundred people, or maybe a few thousand people, when Trump's getting several thousand or 15,000 people to every rally. They wouldn't come up with this kind of a lie. They wouldn't come out and tell you, don't vote for Trump. If there was nothing you could do, if your votes didn't matter, why would they care? Don't let these people in the media, these weasels that are bought and paid for, intimidate you. Don't you let them pull this mind control. There's nothing you can do. They have all the power. No, they don't. They don't have all the power. If they did, they wouldn't come off this desperate and this stupid. Matter of fact, their power is dwindling. You know, the latest poll, another poll out, and and even a lower low for the mainstream media, that people don't trust the mainstream media. I have another good friend of mine out in Seattle. Actually, is Dave and Susan out in Seattle, and he always tells me, hey, you try to go out and have some fun, see a movie, try to get away from. He's right about that. He's absolutely right. Dave, you're right about that. Try to get out. See, he's right. You don't let this consume you, but be in the know. I try to show you, not just tell you, but show you. Here's my opinion. Here's what forms my opinion about the economy, baby, about war, about how unfair the media is. I mean, they should be bringing up this Haiti thing. They just got whacked. There's 108 people. I hope Trump brings it up about, hey, you guys raised nearly $14 billion. The former president of Haiti, who was there at the time, they didn't get hardly any of the money, 5%. What's up? And he should interject that thought, because that is relevant to the here and now, those poor people. That's absolutely sad. Thank you very much for supporting USA Watchdog with your comments and donations. That helps us out. And remember, fear not. God the Father is in charge. Not Hillary and not the elite and not the MSM. God the Father is in charge. Fear not.